Let's understand adding and working with the controls part. I'm in my solution. So I opened make.powerapps.com, and in that, I opened my PowerApps environment and opened a solution called my demo 1. So in the my demo 1, I will try to open the previous app which I created. Just I'm skipping this one. So previously we worked with this screen. So just I'm adding one more screen to here. I'm going with a new blank screen. I'm renaming this screen as a home. So in this one, so in the previous video, I shown we can add controls from clicking on insert here. So we can search any controls we require. So let's add a text label here. So this is the text label we added. We can change the text of it. So let me change to name. So I'm increasing to 25 and make it bold. So I'm readjusting this one. And taking one more copy of this one, we can right click and take a copy. So copy, and again we can paste. So just adjusting this width and size. So we can change to gender. So if you observe, this is the label and this is also label field. So I will now add a text input here. So I'm just placing this one. So giving the size as a 25, same size I'm giving, and default text I'm removing and changing to please enter your name. So I will now add drop down. So for gender we can go with the drop down or radio button. So just I'm going with the drop down here. So once I'm selected a drop down, so once I select the drop down, in the properties it will show the items. So I need to provide the items here. So let me create items. So main, so if you observe, the text is reflecting here. So I just want to change the font size of it to 25. So now I will just add one more control here, that is button control. So I'm clicking here. So this button will have a event called onSelect event. So once we click the button, so this onSelect event will be called. So once this onSelect event is called, I want to update this field to some collection. So let me add a collection here. So to add a collection, so just go to tree view and make sure you selected app. So just go to on start function. So we can add a clear collect, and collection name we can give as my collection. So I'm just adding name and gender. This is the empty collection I'm adding. So once we added a clear collect function here, we can run the onStart. So run onStart, so it will create a my collection here. I clicked on run onStart. So if you go to the app, so if you hover on my collection, so if you see like gender and name, this empty field is available. Like we can update to any user here. So whenever I click this button, I want to update these value to a collection. So we can do it like can write collect function. So we need to select my collection and we need to provide the value name. So and we need a gender. So if you observe here, so once I click on input field, so it is showing in the right side properties. So name is text input. We can change it to text input underscore name, and this drop down can change it to drop down underscore gender. So I'm giving just a readable names. So if I click on this button, error showing event edit in the formula bar, if I click there, it will take me to the formula bar where we writing this on select event for it. So we know like we have given a name, so input text input underscore name, so dot text we need to pass. Let's give gender value as drop down underscore gender dot selected dot value. So it will take. So whenever I click this button, so whatever the value I provided here, same will be updated in the my collection. So let me save this one and preview. So let me give John mail. So once I click the submit, so I'm going back to the, so we have created my collection. So in the my collection, if you see, so the value is added, name is John and gender is male. So like this we can work with the controls. So actually these controls we will not add directly to a screen. We will be having container before we add controls into a screen. Let's understand how to work with the container control. So once we are in the home screen, so we can add a container. So to add a container, just click on the insert. So search for container. So I take this container. So once I click, so we can expand this one. So like this we can expand it. So I'm going to tree view, and if we want to move this controller to a container, we can just we can hold a control and select all. So you can right click, you can cut it and go to the container, and again right click, paste, and click on paste. So all the controls we added outside of the screen, which will be part of the container now. So container will help us to apply the parent properties to our controls. For example, so this container is there. So if you want to change this property to, like, if you want to hide this all the controller, like, we can apply that event to a container. So if you want to apply, like, we have selected a control here. If you want to change the properties visible to hide, so just we want to update the visible property of the container, so it will hide all the controls inside the container. And if you want to update any other properties also, we can update and change the same will applies to the child also. So visible, important to understand the colors and opacity while designing the UI controls. Let's move. So here in the button, like, we have written on click event. So I just increase this button size, and if you see here, we can change the text of it. I'm giving save. So we scroll down in the same properties list, so there is a option called fill. So this fill, so let me update this font size also. Before that, font size I can give 25 here. So in the fill color, I can change this color. For example, if I want to green, so we can go with the custom colors also. Here RGB color we can choose it. So for example, we choosing this color, and if you want to change the opacity, so this is the opacity we have. So if we go with the left side till the last, like, it will get transparent. If you want to increase, so it will update like this. So this is very important. For example, if you want to update this color properties directly here, we will be having this property, and also here RGB, and this color we can change it. For example, this is the color we are waving, and the opacity is this one. This is the red, green, and blue one. These values are coming, and this one is the opacity related. If you give it as a 0, it will be like very transparent, and if you give 1, it is fully showing this value. If you give 0.5, it's a middle one. Like, if you see this, it's showing a little bit in the save text, it's showing transparent. So let me try this opacity with the rectangle one. So let me add a rectangle here. So I'm just clicking on the rectangle. I'm just adding inside the controller. So I want to make this inside the container. So I can just do cut, and I will select the container and right click and paste. So this get added. So I want this to be last. So order send to back, so it will be firstly added, and so I want this to be expanded till here. You see, so on top of this I'm adding, so if I move this upside, so if I do forward, you see the label is before rectangle, like it is hidden. So if I want to this label should be hidden, this rectangle should be back. So if I change the order to backward, so this name label will be visible. So I was telling this color opacity, right? So if we can change here opacity, so if I go to custom and change the opacity here, we observe like opacity is getting changed. So it is, if I update more and more to left side, like the opacity will be decreased, and so that it will be transparent, completely transparent. So I observe. Thank you guys.